This is Craftalytical, and I'm your host, Andy. Have you ever manifested something into being? Faked it until you made it? Prayed to your deity and had something happen? Have you ever asked and received? Have you ever done something good and karmically had something good happen to you? Or done something bad and then been spanked by karma? All of this comes down to manifestation. It's an interesting phenomena. Think of it like a placebo effect. That's not to say that God doesn't exist. In the Christian Bible, we're told to ask and ye shall receive, or that if you want God's help, you have to help yourself. And I think that's what this is. It's not really about the religious aspect. It's about the fact that it focuses your mind. Now, don't laugh. I got suckered in to a YouTube advert. Now, I often watch these adverts all the way through, even though some of them are like 40 minutes. Because I'm interested in the scam. I'm interested in what they are promising. There's one about being a prepper and having enough food to last your family forever. And really, this is a hydroponics thing, or aquaponics. And it's all science and equipment that is already out in the ether, but it's sold as this special once-in-a-lifetime deal. For every person that clicks on that, they're earning £30. It's one advert that could net you thousands of pounds a day, given that this advert is played all over the world. I got caught in one of these. I was truly interested in what this conspiracy theory was. But I'll tell you that I then spent a lot of time researching and debunking and learning more about the subject matter. There's a video on YouTube that tells you that this chap, and depending on the video you get, this chap has the same name, but he's pictured as all sorts of ethnicities. It's a nicely generic name too. But the theory goes that this chap was destitute. He was about to lose his apartment and he lost his job and he didn't know how he was going to pay his bills and child support. And he was desperate. Well, he ended up getting an invite, or rather he went to church with his parents, and there was this big Hollywood celebrity, this really famous person with their parents. And he plucked up the courage to just walk over there and say, hey, I've heard about this conspiracy theory. Is it true? And this person apparently laughed and said, Wes, if you're really open to it, I'm going to show you. And this person takes this Wes guy to a star-studded secret event where there's all sorts of rituals, and they start chanting this 20-word mantra like a spell. And he says some people laughed and some people cried and some people, started doing all sorts of weird things. It had an effect on them. And because he was the only person who didn't know the words, obviously he was unaffected. And he snuck a photograph of what they were chanting from. He says it's a lost page of Jewish scriptures. It's always a Jewish thing, isn't it? It's just so anti-Semitic at the very basis of it. Like the Jewish people are hiding something from the rest of the world. It was at this point, not the dark rituals, but at this point that I sighed and started looking for other red flags. Supposedly, this chap gets brought into the inner circle and starts using these words. And it starts off with him feeling really weird about it because this was a dark ritual, but maybe he could use it for good, and, you know, how he wanted to share that with the world and all of this other bunk. But ultimately, he says in this advert that he managed to achieve great riches, and he has a garage full of Lamborghinis and other expensive cars and a mansion and an amazing life because he used it for good and not evil. So I looked into it. Now, he calls it a mystical 20-page script. It's, 20-word script. It's not 20 words, but it is a script. It doesn't come from a holy scripture. That's completely debunked. It is basically the same thing that people like him have been teaching for decades, if not longer, and making a huge amount of money on. Now, at the end of this video, he wants to sign you up to receive a bundle of DVDs and motivational literature and books, and eventually you will get this 20-word script. And it's only going to cost you £30. Again, it's this idea that you get people who are desperate for help, so vulnerable they're willing to spend £30 that they cannot afford on something like this, only to find that everything they're promised doesn't just magically appear. If you really pay attention to this guy Wesley's story, he started using this 20-word script, again, it's not 20 words, to change his life. And suddenly, after 40 days or something of using this script, he suddenly comes up with ideas for businesses and online ventures, and it takes off, and he ends up a millionaire. The problem is with this, and what he's not sharing purposefully, is that you can do this for yourself. It's not about the mystical words. It's not about the ritual. It's not about dark forces at all. It's about changing your mindset. It's about faking it until you make it. It's about asking and receiving. The idea behind this, from an actual scientific point of view, is it's a placebo, but it's a really powerful one. Our brains are designed to be constantly rewired. They're amazing machines, and we don't utilize them enough. This mantra, and from now on I am going to call it a mantra, is about changing your mindset. It's about reinforcing and focusing your mind. It's about reading it to yourself or saying it out loud, because sometimes when we hear something out loud, it becomes real. It becomes more tangible and within our grasp. So this mantra is about focusing your mind. You're concentrating on reading those words or saying those words over and over and over. It's brainwashing. It's conditioning. But it's not magic. And it's not bad brainwashing. It's about changing your mindset and being open to possibilities. Now, don't laugh. Once I did all of this research and saw that it, definitely was a scam and people had lost money from it or had already asked for refunds, because, of course, these things always come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, because even if they give you your money back, that money has been in a bank account earning them interest. Your 30 quid doesn't matter because it accumulates with everyone else's 30 quid and makes them a huge amount of money every month. It's free money even when they have to refund you because it's the interest that they're making money on. So all that said, I looked at the information that I could find, and it's a bit difficult to go digging for this information. And I looked at the psychology of it. And I realised what I was looking at was Pavlov's dogs. If you don't know, Pavlov was a scientist. He conditioned dogs. Every time he fed them, he rang a bell. And very quickly, as soon as they heard the bell, they would start salivating because their brain knew what was coming next. They'd rush to the spot that they were expected to be in. It's training. And regardless of whether food was put down or not, they would have that same reaction over and over and over again. You think about how we train animals or train toddlers. It's a constant reinforcement of the rules and how to do things that gets them to learn. As adults, we forget this. We don't think about it in the same terms as within ourselves. Change comes from within, and we have to be open to that change and want that change and here's the key, work for it. By saying this mantra over and over and over to myself, I have focused my mind. I'm more organised. I am more motivated. I am full of ideas and purpose. I am looking for opportunities to make my mantra come true. I'm more open to taking little risks, as in going to someone and asking for something. And I'm also more open to seeing people around me that need help. The idea behind everything I do as a mental health mentor, a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer, and here on the podcast is to reach as many people as I can, to give a different perspective and hopefully bring something positive into their lives and help them find positive change. Help them learn from others' experiences and others' behaviour. And sometimes, in fact, most of the time, when we look at other people's behaviour, we're looking at what not to do. That's the lesson that we're learning. Occasionally, something like this comes along and it's a chance to learn how to change your mindset and how to affect your attitude, how to be open to ideas. I'm not going to lie, being a podcaster and a YouTuber and all of that stuff is really hard. It's a lot harder than people think. You have to be engaging and you have to be up for being social, even if it is through a screen. And you have to be ready all of the time. You are on all of the time because you're constantly networking and gaining momentum. You can't take your foot off the gas. And people think when you are a YouTuber, you hit a certain point in success and you can kick back and relax. But you can't. You have to keep that momentum going. And it's hard work. It's hard work. YouTubers get burnout. Podcasters get burnout and need time off. And you're constantly coming up with new topics. And there are times when you think about it and think, oh, there are no new topics in mental health. We've said it all. And actually we haven't. or we've not said it in a way that connects with someone who hasn't been reached yet. I spend most of my time saying the same things over and over. And looking at this mantra, I realize that that's because people need help to affect that change. They need to hear things over and over again before they really start to believe it. I've had this done to me in a negative way. I was told that I was ugly, that I had a horrible voice, that I should stay quiet because I'm not intelligent, over and over and over again. And it takes a long time to get out of that. If you're told those things day in, day out, you believe it. And it's literally taken me decades to realise that, no, I'm probably averagely smart. And people like my voice. I get compliments about it. And people find me engaging and interesting. Yesterday, I had 4 separate people all say to me, "Oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. That makes so much more sense. Thank you, and you've helped." It turns out that I'm pretty good at what I do. I just have a lot of imposter syndrome, and that's okay. Because it keeps me working hard and learning. It keeps me focused, and it can be a motivational tool. But I work hard to recondition my brain. Now, I started using this mantra at the end of last week. Now, don't laugh. Don't think less of me. It's not about it being magic or divine or demonic, which is just ridiculous. It doesn't come from a holy scripture. It comes from modern psychology and how we recondition ourselves, just like Pavlov's dogs. It's about focusing the mind and making sure we are open to opportunity. Since using this mantra, I have been open to opportunity. I've said yes to a lot of things. I have reached out to people that I have seen, complete strangers at that point that I have seen that are struggling. I've worked hard to make sure I'm putting something positive out there. I've been open to compliments and taking on good feedback, which is something I really struggle with. I am not good at compliments. And I have been focused. I know what I want for stability and peace of mind. And I know my order of priorities with that. I'm not just asking for wealth or using the genie for 3 more wishes. It's about making my life a more well-rounded place for me to be, and concentrating my mind on the work that needs to go into that. Because these things magically aren't going to fall in my lap. I've actually got to do something in order to find those opportunities to take complete advantage of. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Praying and meditating on something, manifestation, chanting this mantra, whatever you call it, it is all about concentrating the mind on what you need and how you need to work to get there, what you need to do, and being open to putting in the work. And again, I'm not saying that there isn't a God listening. I don't know. It would be nice to think there is, and there's some kind of purpose to all of this. But it also concentrates you. God helps those who help themselves. Now, I'm going to share this mantra with you. And I'd like to encourage you to use it yourself. Because it really has changed things for me. It's changed my mindset. And I'm on day 6, I think. I can only imagine where I'm going to be in the next 3 weeks, after saying this for a month and really acting on the positive change and hard work that I know I need to put in. Now, don't get me wrong, I am exhausted. I have had a migraine for the best part of a week and I'm tired, but it's worth it. If I can get to a point where I reach as many people as I can on a consistent basis and I'm attracting the positive energy that I need to help others and that other people need to help themselves, then that's worth it. And at some point I will get some sleep and I will get rid of this migraine. I've said this mantra 5 times to myself every morning. Now, open yourself up to using emotion when you say these words. It's not that I am asking you to overact, but when you say these words to yourself, feel what it would be like to have what you really need. Feel it. Deep down in your bones, what would that feel like? Independence, freedom, peace of mind, all of those things. Feel that. Because it's going to help change your brain chemistry and make those connections, those physical connections in your brain. And it's going to be motivational. So here are the words. Now, I'm not a great out loud reader, so please bear with me if I sound robotic. Get a pen and paper and get ready to write this down. Quote, I am so happy and grateful now that love, good health, and money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis without harm to others. Now, I've changed this a little bit. The original 20 magic words is, I am so happy and grateful now that blank comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. For me, it was important to have love and good health as my first 2. Because with those, we can pretty much do anything. And yes, we all need money. I've also added the without harm to others. Because it is important to me that my success doesn't bring harm to anyone else. My achievements don't negatively impact other people. And also, when dealing with mental health issues, it is so important to me that I don't harm anyone in the process of trying to help them. Really, it doesn't matter what words you use, as long as you are putting that positive energy into it, and as long as you are feeling what it would be like to have those things. I'm so grateful for what I have. I really am. I work hard, and there are times when it feels like I'm getting nowhere. But there are other times where I have days like yesterday, and so many people say to me, thank you, I feel so much better. Or you've given me a new perspective, or whatever it might be, and I know that it's a job well done. I know that I'm reaching people. Even if they don't agree with me, it's planting a seed for them to reevaluate. And even if you decide to not change your mind or not add a new concept into your thinking, it's good to explore other things. Like me looking into this, I knew it was bunkerment. I knew it was a scam. And I wasn't about to spend 30 quid that I didn't have on it. But it introduced this new idea to me and allowed me a chance to flex my muscles when it comes to my A-levels in psychology and sociology. It also gave me a chance to evaluate what this kind of thing is. It's really easy to look at it and go, nope, that's a scam, and keep scrolling. But when we explore it, when we go and research it and think about it from another angle, it gives us a new perspective. I know that this isn't magic. It's about changing my mindset and making me believe that I am worthy. A lot of the problem for me is I don't think I deserve good things. Now, that's a product of childhood trauma, blah, blah, but it has stuck with me my whole life. I'm not designed for more than that. And that's what I've been told. But actually, no, I have a purpose. I've found my passion and I can pursue it and not feel guilty about doing it. Not feel guilty about having any kind of measurable success. Success is about the people that I work with and making sure that I'm doing no harm. Success is giving people a positive change, which is why I'm sharing this. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I'd encourage everyone to try it and put some effort into it. Be open to the idea. Be open to new chances and believe in yourself a little bit. In other words, fake it until you make it. Thank you for being here for this episode. I am sorry if you heard my dog barking. I hope it didn't disturb this recording as much as I fear. You can catch me on YouTube. I live stream on Tuesday mornings and on Friday nights. I'm also on Twitch on Mondays and Friday mornings. And I also produce other content for YouTube. You can get all of those links in the description. If you have a request for an episode, if there's something you want my take on, then please email me. That's craftalytical@gmail.com. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Oh, and share this episode if it's been useful. Thank you.